नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, and Text 19. Vivakshoho mukataha bhumnaha vivaksho mukato bhumno vahnihi vak vyahrutam tayoho vahnirvak vyahrutam tayoho jale cha etasya suchiram जले चैतस्य सुचिरं निरोधः समजायत निरोधः समजायत विवक्षो मुक्तो भूम्नो वह्निर्वाग्व्याहृतं तयोः निरोधः समजायत
विवक्षोर्मुखतो भूम्नो वह्निर्वाग्व्याहृतं तयोः जले चैतस्य सुचिरं निरोधः समजायत विवक्षोर्मुखतो भूम्नो वह्निर्वाग्व्याहृतं तयोः
When there was a need to speak, Mukataha from the mouth, Bhumnaha of the Supreme, Vahnihi the fire, or the controlling deity of fire, Vak vibration, Vyahrutam speeches, Tayoho by both, Jale in the water, Cha however, Etasya all these, Suchiram very long time, Nirodha suspension, Samajayata did continue. Translation purported by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation: when the Supreme desired to speak, there was vibration of speeches from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. Please repeat. When the Supreme desired to speak, there was vibration of speeches from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. Quote by Prabhupada. The peculiarity of the gradual development of the different senses is simultaneously being supported by their controlling deities. It is to be understood, therefore, that the activities of the sense organs are controlled by the will of the Supreme. The senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned souls. and they are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity deputed by the Supreme Lord. One who violates such controlling regulations has to be punished by degradation to the lower stages of life. Take for example the tongue and its controlling deity Varuna. The tongue is meant for eating, and men, animals and birds each have their different tastes because of different licenses. The taste of the human beings and that of the swine are not on the same level. The controlling deity, however, awards or certifies a particular type of body when the particular living entity develops a taste in terms of different modes of nature. If the human being develops taste without discrimination, as does the swine, then the controlling deity is certainly certified for the next term to award him the body of a swine. The swine accepts any kind of foodstuff, including stools, and a human being who has developed such indiscriminate taste must be separated, must be prepared for a degraded life in the next life. Such life is also God's grace, because the conditioned soul desired a body like that for perfectly tasting a particular type of foodstuff. And if a man gets the body of a swine, it must be considered the grace of the Lord, because he awards the facility. After death, the body is offered by superior control and not blindly. A human being therefore must be on his guard as to what sort of body he is going to have in the next life. Irresponsible life of indiscrimination is risky, and that is the declaration of all scriptures. Presence the Bhaktivedanta Purport Madhyana Tindan Dasya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamy Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Kacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhasha Padeshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in the last verse we have seen the tongue's function as a sense to taste the different juices. Basically we focused on eating. Now here the one more function, that is to produce speeches or the sound vibrations. Vivaksho mukatho bhugno. Then when the Supreme desired to speak, vahirvad vyahritam tayor. So speeches came from his mouth, and also the controlling deity, that is the fire. When some people speak, literally fiery speeches will be there. Actually, that's the power of the sound. All along, if you analyze the history of the mankind, they could mobilize millions of people into action by producing fiery speeches. So that was the power of the sound. In Bhagavatam also, it says Viplava. It uses the word Viplava. That means the sound vibrations depicted in Bhagavatam has got the potency to create a revolution in the sinful lives of the population. So when somebody hears Bhagavatam, so his sinful life will be finished. This is the power of the sound. So Jale Chaitasya Suchiram Nirodha Samachayate. Of course, when the Supreme was lying in the water, all these functions were not exhibited. So here Prabhupada is mentioning how, along with the development of the sense, the controlling deity of the sense is also being created, produced. So the controlling deities are demigods, and we can see our entire body with all these senses is minutely controlled. Minutely controlled. Here Prabhupada is introducing a concept called license. License means, we take license for driving, a license for setting up a shop, or popularly license for setting up a liquor, liquor licenses. This is what we hear. So license means it is given against certain terms and conditions. When a license is given, for example, a driving license, they will give you a set of regulations also. They will say you have to do like this, you have to do like that, and if you violate, we will take back the license, or we will modify the license. This is what they say, right? So, Prabhupada is saying here that we got all our senses, legs, hands, nose, eyes, all those senses, but they are all given, it's a license that is given. What is given to us is only a license to use these senses. These senses do not belong to us. The senses that we have, they are not belonging to us. The owner is the Supreme, and he has deputed a controlling deity who monitors your license. Under his control only will be able to use. So this is a revolution in the life of people. This Bhagavatam sentence. Everybody is fascinated by the senses that they have. The 5 kinds of jnana indriyas and 5 kinds of karma indriyas. People are fascinated. And everybody thinks that these senses can be utilized the way I want. Sometimes when we explain to them that we have to control our senses, then they'll say, why? God only given these senses, no? So we can nicely use. We can enjoy. So this is their argument. But here, the senses are given to you with a license. Along with the license, you are supposed to follow the rules and regulations of the license. Otherwise, the controlling deity will recommend that we cancel this license and give some other license. A Prabhupada is saying here, if somebody is indiscriminate in his eating habits, then the controlling deity will recommend, looks like he is very inclined towards one more specific license, not this license. This license is not suitable. So Prabhupada says he will be given a body of a pig. It's fine. Indiscriminate eating means his human license will be cancelled and he will be given a separate license. Actually, senses are all the same, more or less same. The same senses in different combinations. It will stitch the bodies. The material nature stitches the same set of senses it takes, stitches them, and into that body, the soul will be introduced. So, a human being means he is given a very high license, very high grade license is given. Right? But if he says, if he wants to use that high grade license for low grade activities, then in the next body, that high license will be cancelled and he will be given an appropriate license. He can use only like this. So, tongue is there for the pig also, but the license is only for meeting schools and this and that. So Prabhupada says that is also messy. Why? Because the living entity is desiring so strongly that I want to enjoy like that. So, one important thing is that all these senses as not only belong to us, but these are all false senses. They are not actually real senses. False means temporary. It is an imitation sense or a shadow senses. Our real senses are inside. The soul is having real senses. The soul is a personality, a beautiful personality, and it has soul has senses. It has all the senses. So material nature, it actually gives this body, tailors this body, because the soul is having senses. Prabhupada gives example. Let us say you go to a tailor. He stitches your clothes in a certain way because you have senses. You have hands, legs, and that. He will take the sizes. He will prepare the clothes accordingly. So similarly, the material nature is also stitching these bodies. It is assembling these bodies. It's a huge assembly. Senses are available. All the various parts are already available. And the material nature stitches them together into a machine and introduces the soul into it. Right? So, the important thing is that these senses are temporary, false senses, shadow. They are not real ones. Real means permanent. False means temporary. This is the definition according to Vaishnava. Okay, so that's why when acharyas they come here, they strongly warn us that don't waste your time in satisfying the shadow senses. Don't waste. They cannot give you the happiness that you are looking for. You are looking for sensual enjoyment that you enjoyed in the spiritual life, in the spiritual world. That enjoyment you are seeking in this world. This is the problem of the soul. The soul has experience of the real enjoyment, the kind of quantity, the quality of enjoyment that it had in the spiritual world. The soul remembers. It has got those inclinations. But it is searching in a wrong place. It's exactly like a fish is searching for comfortable life on the land. That's what Prabhupada gives an example. Very striking. Similarly, we are all inhabitants of a different planet. We are inhabitants of a different loka. But we have come here and searching for same facilities. Whatever facilities we have there, same facilities we are searching here. Not understanding that these senses are actually not mine. To experience this world, material nature has stitched this space suit, a machine, so that we can live in this atmosphere. Like when some astronauts goes to moon planet, if they go to, but anyway, so they were asked a space suit so that they can live there. Similarly, we came here and this is a space suit. We came from a different loka, we are wearing a space suit. When you are wearing a space suit, how can you enjoy the way you enjoyed in your original house? That's not possible. So, the senses are meant to be controlled, and that is overseen by the controlling deities. Senses are actually meant to be controlled. Yoga Indriya Samyama. That is called yoga. The definition of yoga means these bodily senses have to be controlled. And the more one controls these senses, that is austerities, he becomes more powerful. And more he enjoys these senses, he becomes weak. Bhoga makes a person weaker day by day. And austerities will make you powerful. And those austerities are given by the Acharya, given by the Lord. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna defines the austerity for the speech. He says, Anudvegakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam. Whenever we speak, we should only speak Satyam. Truth, absolute truth, something connected to Krishna, that is called Vakya, that is called speech. Otherwise, only fire, Anudvega, Udvega, it will only create Udvega, anxiety in others. Our speech should not create anxieties like Satyam and then Priyahitam, it should be beneficial. When you say something, it should be beneficial. Then Swadhyaya. One more austerity for the speech is that Swadhyaya. We should study and recite Vedic literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. One should go and recite. So this is called Vangmayam Tapa. Tapa Uchyate. This is the austerity for the sound. So sound is very powerful. As I said, it has created huge revolutions in this world. But all those revolutions are temporary. There are revolutions for some change. That is the nature. We go through some government or some civilization, and then slowly we become unhappy in the mind. And then we say we want to change. And to bring the change, there will be big revolution. So then after the revolution, are they happy? No. They will go on for some more time. And then again, they make one more revolution to change the setup. When Srila Prabhupada went to US, Prabhupada landed into a big revolution called Hippie Revolution. They want a change. They don't want to live like their parents or their grandparents or whatever. They want a change. Now this is the mind's problem. Always it wants variety. The current variety is not sufficient, not happy, it wants change. And those changes are brought by some of the speeches, sound vibrations. So, the Vedanta Sutra, it explains Shabda, Anahuti. Only by sound, Anahuti, you can transcend the world of birth and death. That's the power. People want change, but Bhagavatam or Vedanta Sutra is offering such a change that you can actually transcend all the situations of this world. What is this, one small situation to one more situation you want to change and you're creating a big revolution? Why not transcend all these situations? You will not be happy in any situation unless you are Krishna conscious. So why don't you take up this sound? Shabda, Anahuti. Sound is all pervading. It is pervading in all the elements and all the senses and everywhere. Sound is like that, very powerful. The powerful sound. In fact, the whole material creation, all these ingredients came from sound. So from the sound came all the other ingredients. So Prabhupada explains that a sound can entangle you, or a sound can liberate you. It depends on what kind of the sound you are trying to produce, or what kind of a sound you took shelter. For example, most of the people they will be aspiring, I want to go to America, I want to go to European countries, I want to go here, there. Everybody will be aspiring. On what basis? He heard something about America. He heard something about. He actually is not seen. He only heard sound. But sound, as soon as he hears, he visualizes. I am going to be like this. I am going to be like that. I am going to be like this. He visualizes. And as soon as he thinks, okay, I will be next to the Statue of Liberty, and there will be a selfie, and I will post to everybody. This is what he will do. So all that he has is only just sound. He took shelter of that sound, and he created a world. That's why sound has an ability to create a world. It can supply all ingredients necessary to create that world, right? So similarly, there is a spiritual sound. As soon as some devotees they hear the sound, they also visualize. They also visualize. Yes, look at these devotees. I also should be like that. Look at these devotees. They are so happy. I also want to be like that. Again, they took the shelter of a spiritual sound. Process appears to be the same, but one sound entangles you and one sound liberates you. See? At some point of time, we all visualize like that. That's why we are here. Somewhere we decide, I want to be like this. So that's why sound, because it is very powerful, and Krishna has given that license, a powerful license here to use the sense, tongue. It's very powerful. So it has to be used carefully, very carefully. So devotees should use the tongue to do priyahitam, beneficial works. We should not discourage, or we should not disappoint, other people, particularly when they want to become devotees. And so, after becoming devotees also, we should encourage each other by our nice good words. Satyam priyahitam. But sometimes Satyam is that means truthful speeches can be little hurting. Somebody tells the truth, it can be little hurting, right? So that's why Prabhupada is saying here that when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students. But such a teacher should not speak to others who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. Now this is the principle. Teacher, for example, Prabhupada sometimes he spoke very strongly to his disciples. So a teacher can speak Satyam even if it is hurting to his disciples. But the same teacher, he cannot speak to others if it will agitate their minds. See? So when we are preaching to the outsiders, we should be careful in using the certain words. Prabhupada, because of his purity, and he is saying out of compassion, sometimes he has used words like mudha. Like here Prabhupada is saying, rascal, all are rascals. Some yogi named it or he said, the rascal is a dog. Now, I read some conversations, like some very big philosophers and the professors or leaders of the society. They used to come and discuss with Prabhupada. And in one place I was seeing Prabhupada is talking. There are question answers going on. This man is asking something and Prabhupada is answering. And this man says something, Prabhupada says, that means you are a dog. And that man took it. That means you are a rascal. He took it. Because they can see Srila Prabhupada's vibration. They can see it is actually meaning my own benefit, for my benefit. So Prabhupada is like that. I think not dog, he says rascal. Rascal. Mudha. He says, what is that Mudha? Mudha means rascal. Rascal dumb. What is that Swamiji? Rascal dumb. So Prabhupada was like that. He is fearless. He presented the truth. Right? But we cannot imitate Srila Prabhupada. Right? Particularly we are all very young, like bachas. So you cannot go and say, you are a Buddha and all those things. We have to be very careful in presenting Satyam, Priyahitam, the truth to the others, so that it is beneficial. How do you know you spoke well? It should be beneficial. And what is the beneficial thing? When they get sadhu sangha, they should be promoted to bhajana kriya. This is what beneficial. After having sadhu sangha, he should not be disappointed or agitated in his mind. Okay, so sadhu sangha should lead to bhajana kriya, and bhajana kriya will lead to anandana vritti. This is it. Sadhus have to give faith. By their association, they should induce them to do bhajana kriya. Some chanting 1 round, 2 rounds, they will always encourage. For example, anybody who comes to this temple, our devotees will ask only one question: how many rounds you are chanting? Why don't you chant one? Hare Krishna. Right? They will not ask any other details. So that is sadhu sangha. We should encourage them to do some bhajana kriya, some seva to the temple, to the deities. This should be our goal. Somebody who understands these principles of using the sound, actually he will become a powerful instrument in bringing a change in the society. It's a very powerful energy, sound. So devotees should mindlessly practice how it can help for the benefit of the society. Any questions? Of course, the spiritual sound, which is the most powerful sound that can take you out of this world, is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that sound vibration, if you can receive nicely, then yes, on a day-to-day basis, you will be liberated. Even if it is namabhas, just trying to avoid offenses. Namabhas means you are trying to avoid offenses. Even in that stage, you will get mukti from the harassment of the senses. If you want mukti, even namabhas is enough. And if it is really offenseless, then that is called Shuddhana. There you will become lover of Krishna. So at least devotees should try, deliberately attempt to come out of the offenses. That itself will liberate you for the day. Because next day again you have day after day, day after day, day after day. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
We have heard, soul takes different bodies according to the desires in this world. So, soul also has some senses. So, I heard that Srila Prabhupada saying, why does the tailor in this world stitch 2 hands for the shirt? Because you have.
Yeah.
So similarly, the soul takes this body.
Yeah.
So, but we see that it takes other bodies as well.
Yeah.
So that's a contradiction there.
Basically, all the bodies that we see in this world are stitched based on the bodies that are there in the spiritual world. There is a human body, and there are these all kinds of species are there, and based on those, these bodies are stitched. And depending on the desire and the karma, the soul enters into a certain body. It is not that exactly soul shape it is stitched. Soul is there, but the body is stitched according to the varieties in the spiritual body. So if Krishna is saying, I am the Father, so Krishna also should have all the forms. How can children have forms without Father having form? Right? So you see Krishna accepting a fish form. So that's why you see fish for the children. So you understood there is a fish, there is an animal, there is a tree, there is a mountain, there is a human, everything is there in the spiritual world. So those forms are taken and stitched here. The machines are ready, molds are ready. So all the molds are as per the forms that are there. So into those forms the soul is introduced. The soul is same, it has the same senses and body, and the form is same, but it enters into a different kind of a body.
Hare Krishna. I'm connected to this question, is there any description mentioned in any of the scriptures? Soul is taking human body, that means soul is having two hands, so human body is getting his two hands. So he will become some insect, so it will have multiple hands, legs and all. So soul is having those many hands and legs, that is the reason soul is taking that body, or it will get transformed whenever it is.
Yeah, it is not that the soul which is there inside the insect body is having innumerable hands and all that. But such an idea is there in the spiritual world. The idea of how to make this insect body, that idea is there in the spiritual world. So ideas and the concepts, they come from the spiritual world, and material nature, according to the direction of the Lord, stitches the bodies. So the body, let us say somebody leaves here a big example is there, he leaves the human form. First the soul has to, with the subtle body, goes to the hellish planets. There, the subtle body is trained up to live in a big body. So the soul is there, that Atana Sharira is subtle body. So the Atana Sharira will be given all kinds of training. So, for example, a plate full of stool will be given. And so he will be forced to eat. If you don't eat, then he will be whipped and all that, and he has to eat. And once he develops plate after plate after plate, it is the mind's tendency that it gets used to it. Like for example, I remember when I went to one of the house programs long ago. Their house is just next to the railway track, and next to it is one big sewerage. When we went there, it starts thinking, that is for me, but the people who are living there, none. Right? That is the mind's tendency. It gets used to it. So as the Atma Sharira goes on eating this stool after stool, it gets used to it. Not only used to it, it develops taste. And as soon as it develops taste, now the soul and the Atma Sharira, the subtle body, is ready to go and live in a big body. So you can see the soul is actually again going into the big body. So in the big body, it enjoys the life of a pig and comes out and it can progress further. So like that. So So the idea of pig is there in the spiritual world. It may not be exactly like this, but some idea is there. Like Varaha. So there is an idea. And according to that, a body is made already. Now, let us say in the spiritual world, the soul is having, say, a tree form. Soul can be having a tree form. Soul can be having all kinds of this, and that is a permanent form. So, but in this world, that permanent tree form is being taken, and a duplicate body, the imitation is being created. Okay, so all the species that we see, they are all imitations, imitation forms. Nalakuvera, for example, they entered into a tree body. It doesn't mean that they have originally tree bodies. The soul is having a tree body. No. It lives, the soul lives in a tree form here. Yes.
84 lakh Jivarashis, whatever we see in material world, perverted reflection.
Yeah.
In pure form, are some concept or some idea is there in spiritual?
Yes. Any other? Yeah.
Spiritual atom and spiritual both are same.
Yeah, soul is like a very small size. You take the hair, the tip of the hair, divided by 10,000. That is the size of the, it's like an atom, very small. That is the size of the soul. And that soul is having form. Atom doesn't mean it is a material thing, no. It is having a form. The soul is having a form. Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.